My paint has arrived. It is the Tamiya semi-gloss black X18. Will that focus on it? Probably not. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to test it before I just go hose it on whatever I got here. Painted a couple spoons up with some primer, and I'm going to also test these two different alternate colors I'm going to use for the ends or in the center. I've got this Model Master Metallizer lacquer. It's called Exhaust. This stuff. I'm not sure if this is still available. I have no idea. And then the other one I got is a Citadel lead belcher. I actually found this because somebody was building a scratch-built vehicle from the video game Wipeout. I don't know if any of you played it. It was an old PlayStation 1 game, and they've came out with Wipeout 2, and they've come out with several throughout the years. But they used the lead belcher on a part of it, and I'm like, I saw the pictures of it. I'm like, what did they use for that color? It's incredible. So it's just got this really neat, like dark steel kind of look, kind of like lead. But it just, I hadn't seen a metallic with that color, so it's kind of a neat one. And then this one just kind of looks like exhaust, but it's like a little bit shiny. It's got a little metallic to it, just a hint. So I want to test those next to the black on these spoons and see how they look compared to each other in the light. One thing I want to talk about also is the actual prop. Like, I'll throw some of the pictures I've got here up. If you look at the screenshots from the movie, you can see it in certain scenes where you can see those bands of lighter color on the baton. But when you look at the actual prop in normal light, it's a lot brighter. It's almost silver. I'm not a fan of that. I want it to look like it did in the movie, and so that's what I'm really trying to simulate. I don't really care that much about doing what the props look like today, and that's another thing, is there were several of these, and they're all a little bit different. Some don't have any, bands painted lighter color on them at all. Some are just all black. Some are like have a whole end of it shaved, so it's like tapered, like almost like a knife. It's so they can shove it in their belt and carry it, and so I'm just gonna be painting it up to look cool, like what I saw in the movie. So that's my goal. Not going hyper accurate on color, because I'm not going to be able to light it the way the world of Tron looks. So I'm going to try to simulate that look with some paint. What do you see, Dad? Well, Dot sees something. She hears something. She doesn't see anything. I had mice coming in. Found a little tiny hole up here. I filled it up with spray foam, the anti-pest stuff. But I think there's chipmunks living on the other side of that, because that's where like the driveway is. I think they burrowed under part of my driveway, and I think she can hear them scratching, so that's why she's up it's also for good moral support, right, God? Yeah. All right, I got my satin black spoons. They are dry. One thing I love about using an airbrush is the paint tends to dry very, very quickly. It may not be fully cured, but it is like within a minute you can touch it. You probably shouldn't if you're going to put more paint down, but because you don't want the oils of your skin getting on that. But like I'm touching a tape part over here because I'm going to be ripping the tape off. I don't really care. And the reason why I put that tape on there is I want to have a section where I can test this color without the black underneath it, because undercoat does matter. So I thought I would put a tape stripe there and then do another stripe here with, so I can block off just the black and do black underneath the alternate color and then just alternate color so I can see all three. I might go this way though with the other color, or this way, just because I want to see both colors right next to black. Anyways, I think I need to adjust my ratio a little bit on this paint because it looks a little bit splotchy. It is satin black, but it's a little splotchy. I think if I put more thinner in, it might smooth it out. But for our tests, totally fine. So I need to mix up whichever one I want to do first and throw some tape on these so I can mark off my other area. Okay, wish me luck. Well, I've had this happen before, and I should have known better. I've had really bad luck spraying metallics through my airbrush, and I could potentially use a different thinner. I have another thinner I could use, but I kind of don't even want to bother as far as with this paint. This is not, I get the impression this is not designed to go through an airbrush. It reacted with my thinner. This is a really, good thinner. But I've had it react with certain paints as well before, and it just like makes like the metallic pigment like precipitate in the paint media, and so it basically clumps. It makes little clumps, and so you can see that here. That edge is just splattering out. It's because it's not liquid, it's like little tiny chunks. And now I have to take my airport brush completely apart and clean it thoroughly, because that stuff never ever gets completely out by just your normal kind of purge of your airbrush. So, lesson learned. Again, I should have known better, but it's been a very long time, so. The other one, though, this one is designed to be put through an airbrush, and it's actually designed, it's thin enough you don't actually need to cut it with any thinner. So, what do you think, Dad? Anyways, I'm going to clean this up so I can spray the other one. I think lead belcher is out. I might just paint some on there just to see it. But it's going to take a long time for it to dry. It'll have to dry overnight, really. I'm going to do it anyway, but I'll do that after I get done with all the airbrush stuff. So let me clean this up. I have taken the airbrush completely apart, cleaned it out, and there's still an obstruction. I hate it when this happens. It's awful. This is the downside to airbrushes, is you got to take it apart and clean it sometimes, and you got to do a really good job to get everything that could potentially clog up that teeny tiny little hole. But I think it's worth it for the control. So I suffer through it. All right. Second time's a charm. Cleaned it out again. Got more crap out of it. I thought I got it all the first time. Apparently not. I remember distinctly from the first time I had this reaction with a metallic paint, it was not good. It took me multiple tries to get all that stuff out. It's just so hard to get every nook and cranny, and then as soon as you put more paint and thinner in it, it frees it up and it goes and clogs up the hole again. If you missed anything. So it's flowing now, and I'm able to spray my airbrush cleaner through it and thinner through it. It's not clogging up on me, so I think we're good. So it's this metalizer. It's Model Master Metalizer Lacquer Exhaust Buffing. So I'm gonna give it a good shake, and this, if I remember right, we don't thin at all. You just spray it directly onto whatever. It's already pre-thinned. It's been sitting for a while. It's very thin. I like that. I like that a lot. I like that so much. It's so subtle, but you can see just enough. It's actually probably going to be what I go with, because I think the lead belcher is going to be a little too silvery for me. That is just sexy. Let me get you guys a good shot. So the big spot right here, that's with the metalizer. That's the satin black. And then that's primered, no black under, but it has the metalizer on it. I really love that. That is like exactly what I want. That is amazing. That's so perfect. I'm not even gonna mess with lead belcher. I was gonna paint it on by brush, not anymore. Just, that is so perfect. I've got to start painting this base coat black down. I've set up a little rig where I can throw it when I need to set it down for drying or whatever. And because the whole thing is going to be base black, I'm not going to be able to do the whole thing at once. I got to do part of it, let it dry for a minute, then do the rest of it, and then I can come back in with that alternate color, the metalizer exhaust color. So I think first thing I'm going to do is, like, the middle and the ends, and I'll leave an area for me to hold on to. I want to do all the seams and crevices and stuff like that first, get those like out of the way. Other thing I got to do is I got to get my satin black paint mixture correct. I think I went a little too heavy with the thinner last time. I think I need to do a little bit more. I'm sorry, I think I went a little too heavy with the paint, and I needed to do a little bit more thinner. I think that's why it was splotchy. So I'm gonna run a couple tests real quick and see if I can get that splattery splotchiness out. And then I'm gonna be starting on this, but I'm not gonna film my tests because that's really super boring to watch, I'm sure. ran out of paint. But I got a good portion of it. I forgot I needed to not do this backside so I could set it down and let it dry. Now I have to sit here and hold it for a few minutes while it dries. It's dry enough where I can set it down for a few minutes. I'm going to give it like, I don't know, 10 minutes to kind of cure up so I can handle the other side without worrying about me putting, well, not fingerprints, I'm wearing a glove, but smudging it, you know. So that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to have to do 2 coats of the black on there because I noticed where I've overlapped, like on the seams and stuff like that, the satin black is much nicer, much deeper looking, which is what I'm looking for. So it's not that uncommon, you know, to build up thin coats, so to get where you want. So I got a ways to go with the base coat of black. So. Alright, so that was really dumb and annoying thing for me to do. I set it down here. I tried anyway. It stuck to my glove and it kind of flipped off a couple times and kind of marred up the paint a little bit. It's not terrible. I don't know if that's even going to pick up on camera, but you can see where my fingers stuck to the paint a little bit. It's not drastic. I might be able to just throw paint on it, but what I'm probably going to do is I'll probably hit it with like a 2000 grit sandpaper real fast, just kind of knock down any high spots in the paint and throw another coat of paint on over it after I clean it off a little bit. But I'm going to let that set for a minute, cure. I got to clean the airbrush again. I'm going to have to do another 3rd coat after this because, well, it's going to need a 3rd coat anyway, just because it's not thick enough in places. But the base coat's almost done. We're real close. Alright, I'm going to let this sit overnight and fully harden up and go back over the ends in the center with that metallizer tomorrow, I hope, if I have time. It's kind of late right now. It's probably close to midnight, and I am tired. So the reason why I want to wait is because if I put tape down, it's very likely it will rip that paint right off. So I wanted to harden up a bit before I can really mask it properly. I just ran out of my yellow masking tape, which sucks, because I don't have any more. So I didn't want to use blue because blue's a little bit stronger and can rip the paint off, but I can do that trick where you put it like on your shirt and it gets a little bit of lint on it. It's just also a lot whiter. Bummer. Okay, well, tiny setback, but really we're just gonna keep moving. Okay, there it is. I'm going to unwrap it now, even though it's only been, a minute since I set it down. Alright, I am loving the way that metalizer turned out. I know that I can like buff it with like a paper towel or something like that, and it'll kind of bring out the shine a little bit more, which I may do, but as is, I love it. It has just enough contrast. I think it looks a lot more like the movie, what you see in the movie versus the actual prop, which is kind of what I want because I don't live in the world of Tron, so this is perfect for me. I'm gonna let this cure. Give it a few hours to really set up, and then I'm going to go put it on my shelf so it can collect dust. Alright guys, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button, send me a message or a comment or whatever. You can find me on the RPF as Numagrathea. I don't really post that much, but you can just use the search function if you need to find me. I'm on Facebook, and you can always hit the YouTube comments. I also have my blog, propchopshop.com. I have not been posting on there for a while. I haven't even logged into it in a while. I really need to. But I haven't done any projects in a really long time. So this was a really easy one. It was something I could do in the 20 minutes I have at the end of the day before I go to bed. I'd been really itching to work on something. I had a little time today. It's the weekend, so I know that time's about to end, so I just got a message that I'm gonna have to leave here in a minute. So anyways, yeah, let me know what you think. Thank you for watching. It feels good to be back, even though it's probably just temporary. I'm loving this. I love the way it works. I can't wait till it dries up, and then I can actually really handle it properly. I think it has an amazing aesthetic. So I've always been a fan of Tron. I always think that even with the CGI on like some of the faces looking a little wonky, I feel like that fits because it's you're inside of a computer program, so why wouldn't they should have CGI'd all the program faces. I think that would have been the way to go. Anyways, that's gonna be it for the video. I will have affiliate links down in the description if there's anything you saw me use other than the actual casting. The paints I'll try to find. I know that metalizer thing, I'm not sure, that metalizer paint that I used, I don't know that they make it anymore. Maybe they do. If you do know, let me know, because there was a few that I had my eye on at my local hobby shop and they don't have them anymore. So I don't know what happened to those. I'd be interested in more. But I'll throw all the paints and the primer and the tape that I'm gonna have to order for myself. All that fun stuff will be down in the description below, and that will give me a tiny little kickback. It doesn't cost you anything extra, just helps me out. I'll make a few pennies. So anyways, See you in the next video.